Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. How we doing? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Hopefully you guys have some good New Year's plans coming up. And we're here to talk about New Year's Eve, our Texas Longhorns in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, Orlando, Florida tomorrow. Texas taking on the Michigan Wolverines. We're going to be previewing the game, just catching up with you guys, going over. Oh, let me turn the phone off. Going over expectations, and yeah, I mean, just talking about matchups, who we want to see, the whole bit. Want to hear a lot from you guys here in the chat, and we'll talk. A little portal talk. Um, I'm kind of saving that for more so after the game, especially come Friday when the portal opens. But obviously, you got to get your work done early in this business, especially now that we've really, really moved to. We are moving much more to an NFL model in this sport, especially when it comes to how the offseason roster management is done. But yeah, a lot to catch up on. I know I've been gone most of this month, so my wife and I celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary and left the country, and my cousin got married. So it was a lot of family time, a lot of traveling. But I'm back. Back home finally. Just getting readjusted before the new year, getting our minds right into the new year. A lot of changes will be coming to this YouTube channel in the next year. I ain't going anywhere. Still gonna have these lives. Still gonna talk ball. Still gonna yell at Quentin and Marlon and JB and all the regulars in here. And Tran will, everybody will be here. But in terms of produced content, there's some projects we're working on that I'm excited about. Some that are very, very big, and some that are will kind of change the direction of this channel, but we will still be here covering Texas, all the same stuff. But yeah, just want to move in a different direction going into the next year. So had some time to reflect, recharge batteries, and excited to talk about this game tomorrow because it's very, very interesting. This matchup, just looking at the matchup and the positions that both of these teams are in, with new faces, new coaches, new, obviously a lot of roster transition. Tomorrow's a big day for a lot of young guys on both of these football teams. Tomorrow's a big day for guys that haven't gotten opportunities that maybe felt like they've deserved opportunities. I had the pleasure of filling in for the great Bucky Godbolt this morning with BK over on Texas Sports Unfiltered. And one of the questions I asked this morning to the audience was, and I'll start. We'll repeat this question here for the chat. Who are the guys? We'll start here. Who are the guys, especially on Texas, right? Who are the guys that we're gonna look back and be like, man, that guy should have been playing more this year, right? Because that's to me the exciting part of this, or who's gonna show you something to where you're gonna be like, man, I wish we could. I can't wait to see more of such and such next season, or I wish we had seen more of such and such maybe at the back end of the season. Obviously the development isn't, is a very different process for different guys. And sometimes the light bulb doesn't come on until late in your freshman season or late in your sophomore season. It can be very different. I mean, look at Arch Manning's journey this season. And as critical as I was reacting to the Will Muschamp news and PK and some of the changes that have happened, I've been very, I think I've been very, I haven't changed too much in my position on it. I'm excited for Coach Boom. I'm excited for Will Muschamp. I'm excited to see what Johnny Nansen calls up and dials up tomorrow as he's kind of in charge for tomorrow's game. But one of the things that I've been really thinking about and just weighing is what with all of this being all in for next season and making sure we have all of this, everything right for Arch and right in the portal. How, you know, how do we come together in this offseason to make sure that we're not repeating some of the mistakes that were made last offseason or even overcorrecting on certain things, right? I mean, when you really look at it, two of your losses were to a top tier Ohio State team and a top tier a Georgia team that I think can win the national championship. So how much of it is two of your three losses? Those teams are just a little bit more ahead of you right now. Yeah, you need to make some changes, but just being more prudent on evaluating how we handle things. But with that being said, as critical as I've been, and I want to make sure we're asking the hard questions. I'm not here to just gas up anything they do. I'm here to really try to understand why they're doing what they're doing. Trying to understand why Sark wants to be. I understand why he wants to be more of the head coach of the offense and have Will Muschamp be the head coach of the defense. That's not my. That's not my preference. I don't like hearing that, but I get it, right? I understand what he's trying to do, and I hope it works. I want it to work. I'm a Texas fan. That being said, where I will give Sark credit because I want to be fair, and I have to be fair. That's one thing I really want to pride myself on. To be fair to Sark, I love the way he's handled Arch Manning this season. I really do. I think Arch Manning is actually being developed, right? Because he's an example. I just talked about, everybody's development not being linear and saying growth pattern. Well, one of the reasons why I felt so strongly about Arch as a prospect is elite prospects develop quickly. They ramp quicker than the good prospects or the great prospects. But the elite guys, they can look night and day by the end of the season. And I think that's one thing that I am the most excited to see is the main character in all this, Arch Manning, coming out there and setting notice for 2026, coming out there and really being. He didn't even have a great A&M game, if we're being real, but like he played his best football down the stretch against better teams at the end of the season, just keeping that rhythm going. I love the way he was doing because he was thrown into the fire. Sark didn't try to hide Arch. I've never felt like, have I agreed with how the game plans? Have I agreed with the play, all this type of stuff? No. But in the totality of things, he has not hit Arch. And Arch, I think, has grown and has grown in an NFL manner because of how he's developed. So I do give Sark credit there. Where I may be critical on one thing, but in terms of just looking at this team and parsing things together, the reason why I'm saying this is because Michigan just hired Kyle Whittingham. I don't even know if I ever thought he'd leave Utah, but he's a Michigan man now. And I would like to see Bryce Underwood unleashed. That's a guy I'm really high on because I'm gonna speak from a broad level real quick and then we'll get to the chat. I want, as a football fan, I want these young quarterbacks to be develop and grow. And I think we're doing the right thing by Arch. But guys like Bryce Underwood this year under Sharon Moore and that prehistoric 12 personnel hit people in the face offense and then hide your quarterback in big games, they didn't do Bryce Underwood any favors this year. And tomorrow's a big game for Michigan and Bryce, and I would like to see Bryce unleashed because that helps Texas get a better look for Will Muschamp of what do I really have on this defense and how do they respond. If Michigan comes out there and they look like they had against anybody with the pulse, like USC, like Ohio State, like OU, right? That their three losses that were the ranked teams that they played, where they in almost all those games outside of USC, they really just hid the quarterback. That doesn't that I know I can. We can line up and bang with the best of them with the defensive line we still have. Like, especially they they still have Jordan Marshall. They don't have Justice Haynes tomorrow, but like I want my guys to get tested. I want Jonah Williams to see real work. I want young guys like Zealous Hicks to see real work when they're out there. Justice Terry, Landon Jackson, not just out there just because Michigan, I'm hoping, especially with the Michigan coaching staff, many of them coaching maybe for positions on Whittingham's future staff or other positions. This is their audition to show some stuff. This is Texas's opportunity to experiment. So I, I'm really looking forward to, while the game being experimental for both sides, just coming out there and trying to get real evals on some of these guys and getting them real work. They deserve that after these 15 practices. They deserve to to be unleashed. I want to see Arch unleashed. I want to see Bryce Underwood unleashed. Guys in the football community, we have a quarterback. Uh, I don't want to say it's a crisis. I think that is overstating the issue. But I'm sorry. I grew up at a time where with the Vince Youngs and the Matt Leinerts and these guys that were ballers. Like I grew up in a time where Sam Bradford, right? Like I want to see good quarterback play in college. I want to see like, and if Bryce has to go to LSU and go hook up with Lane to get that, then so be it. But I want to see people get developed again. Because that's why I like what we've done with Arch Manning and why I'm excited, so excited. That's the number one thing I'm excited about tomorrow. As much as I want to see the new guys and all that, the most important, let's keep the main thing is making sure that Arch is cooking, he's humming. It's attractive to those that are out there in the portal, that high end talent, maybe on the offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, people that want to play with him, so that we can establish a real identity early on in spring practice, especially going to 105 scholarship. So, yeah, I mean, excited to be back here with you guys. Let me check in on the chat. A lot of comments. David Vaughn, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Hit that like button. It's free to show love. If you're new here, please subscribe. Really appreciate it. And excited to talk with you guys. Imagine Colin Simmons not dropping back in coverage. Well, here's the thing. He's still going to drop. They've been lining him up all over the place. The thing is, I haven't. I think some of this stuff is a little faux frustration. Colin Simmons had a great season. And I think that reflects in his numbers. I think it reflects in his postseason accolades. Did he have the best season possible? No. Did he press early on in the season? No. But I think it's more about when he's dropping, right? There were several times where we dropped Colin Simmons into coverage, but we had a corner blitz like with Manny coming behind it where we did get pressure or get a sack. So I understand the frustration, but it's more like, hey, on the money downs, we want to make sure that Colin Simmons is coming. Right? He's still gonna drop in this. Like, if you don't think he's dropping back in this defense, then you don't understand Will Muschamp defense. just throwing that out there. Jalen Walker was dropping into coverage. Michael Williams was dropping into coverage. They were ends in Georgia's scheme. Like hybrid is hybrid, and they're going to be asked to do that at the NFL level. It's more about situation. It's 3rd and 14. Yeah, I want my best guy going after the quarterback, right? Don't drop him in those situations. But in certain dynamics, especially 1st and 2nd down, and trying to have certain looks for especially these young quarterbacks that struggle to process things, you are going to see multiple sets and multiple looks. Like that is something that Muschamp did the first time around when he was here. There was a lot of multiple looks. So I think where a lot of the changes you will see under Will Muschamp is, yeah, more blitzing, more aggression, but also more of the marriage of the coverage behind it to be married to that pressure. That's where I think you will see the biggest changes. But in terms of edge responsibilities, like I think that's a big misnomer about what he's bringing to the table that some people don't understand. It's just frustration because in certain key money downs, you may point to and look at the screen and say, "Oh man, Colin Simmons isn't there. We didn't get that pressure we were looking for, and we were playing this off cell coverage." So I do understand those frustrations there from Texas fans. I hope it's one of our receivers that hasn't seen the field much. So Travis Arnold said Justice Terry. Justice Terry is definitely a guy that I have big hopes for. Um, oh yeah, I'm just reading David Williams' comment. Yeah, this is exactly right, and I'll spin this into Justice Terry's comment because this is exactly what I'm talking about. Where's the comment? David, you're on you're echoing what I'm saying here, right? Um, it's gonna look different, but he's gonna drop. You can't be an end, an edge, and a 3-4 look and never drop, right? Like that. Even JJ Watt on or TJ Watt on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Think about your great 3-4 edges. There's times where they drop into coverage. Now it's just what is he asked to do? Is it more of a spy look? Like again, think about to me, I would look at a Jalen Walker his last year at Georgia, where he was a top 15 pick. Now the Atlanta Falcons, where they took him, they took James Pierce Jr. later in the draft, and they're really trying to muster up that pass rush for the Atlanta Falcons, right under Raheem Morris. That would be the model of I think how Colin Simmons will be looked to be utilized for Texas. And by the way, he has the athleticism and the skill set to do this. And here's the thing: the frustration's not going to be there if Justice Terry is doing what he's supposed to be doing. Landon Jackson's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Smith Aragbo, like some of these other more lesser touted names, right? Zena, guys that are going to be around, I should say, that are still here or even coming in, right? Richard coming in, like some of these other guys that may be coming, that may be spelling some snaps. Like there's going to be a lot of multiple type looks that I think are going to be fun to look at. And I think you will see Colin Simmons being utilized from multiple angles, right? Think about even like Micah Parsons currently on the Green Bay Packers, right? Or how he was used the last couple of years under the Dallas Cowboys, even in Dan Quinn's scheme, putting him over the nose, asking him, hey, let's isolate him one-on-one with the guard and have him beat the guard with speed. Those are more like NFL type, lanes and looks, right? So just not having him only isolated to edges. Now, every now and again, we would have some stunting games with those guys, and we would get some success. Like that hasn't been a negative for Texas. It's just that we want to see even more, right? But that's not something we've even struggled with even under PK. It's just I know people want to see that intensity and that physicality from Texas. They want to be known as a team that is intimidating, quite frankly. So Brad Spence is another one. Great name. Fitting in that 3-4 mode. What's up, CB? 2 times in one day, baby. Yes, sir. Yeah. Going back to the quarterback point, it's a rare one. And this also leads me to and finishing the point on the edges. That is also based a size thing, right? Colin Simmons isn't the same size as Myles Garrett. These guys aren't traditional 4-3 defensive ends. Colin Simmons is definitely more of an outside linebacker, and it would behoove him to be more of an edged linebacker type off, not always hand in the dirt. From a health standpoint, he'll have a longer career playing that way than being asked to be an undersized defensive end at the next level. Especially he's gonna have to go at the next level. He's gonna have to go against guys like Jordan Mailata, those guys are 6'7", 350. You know what I mean? Like that. You have to understand the size types of some of these defensive ends. It's very different. He's much more TJ Watt than he is Miles Garrett, right? Just physically. So just understanding what type of players you have so that it aligns with the scheme. That's important. But going to the quarterback point and development, um, this is like, what type of quarterback does Bryce Underwood want to be? What type of quarter? I mean, we know where Arch is heading, and that's why I don't listen to the noise from other people with Arch. Arch is becoming a litmus test real quick on who knows what the hell they're talking about, and what they're looking at, and who just is the casual fan hater that doesn't understand football and just going to repeat narratives that they heard on Twitter, right? Because if you understand what you're looking at and you watched him from Ohio State to Texas A&M, and you've really watched him, and you watch his film, and you watch what he's doing pre-snap, he's he is already, and he's flawed. Arch is flawed. Still has accuracy problems. He still has footwork problems. He still still has consistency problems. Even with that, he's still light years ahead of some of these other young quarterbacks. Absolutely. Absolutely. I could at least install stuff for Arch to play in the NFL right now. Some of these guys still don't even know how to go through basic progression reads or even understand certain shell or what leverage a DB is playing. Right? So this goes to who you're evaluating in the portal to be play alongside these quarterbacks, because as we looking at some of the mercenaries that you're looking to fill out your team with to hopefully put you over the edge, hopefully it's guys that hopefully you get the good mercenaries like a Matthew Golden type that want to come and you leverage Texas to become a first round pick, A.D. Mitchell, right? Like those type of guys that turn themselves and make themselves even more money because they were productive in our system on a big platform in a program that quite frankly is a pressure cooker. Texas is a pressure cooker because I've been watching Quinn Ewers at Miami and I'm happy for him. And I've noticed over the last 2 weeks, he looks very calm. He looks like Quinn looks like he's playing and I know it's at the NFL and they're not contending right now or anything like that. But it's very interesting watching just Quinn's body language, right? He's that pressure cooker. He was in such an intense pressure cooker at Texas, week to week, all these expectations, all the noise. Then you go to the NFL, it might even be easier on the mental because now you're only focused on football. There's no more school. You're healthy. You've been sitting for a little bit, but you also really got that hardcore training in the Texas pressure cooker. Now, some of that pressure cooker it has overcooked a lot of guys. Arch is in the pressure cooker right now, and I think he is responding very well because that's what the NFL is. The NFL is a massive pressure cooker. Texas is a massive pressure cooker. And so just watching some of these guys that have gone on to the next level, it's very interesting to see how quickly they've been able to get on that. And again, another positive to Sark, because some of y'all think I'm just hating on him now. Another positive in Sark's cap is we are still running an NFL type program. And I do think that is preparing the guys the right way in regards to those things. Marlon said, how right was I about DeAndre Moore? So for those who don't know, Marlon was, before the season started, I'm going to give Marlon credit here because You called this before the season started. You didn't think DeAndre Moore was that guy. I'm just going to tell people what you said because you told me this. You didn't think he was that guy, and you thought he was overrated. And I don't think DeAndre is a. I think DeAndre is a good football player. I think he also struggles with consistency. I think he also was a victim of Arch's struggles. Obviously, early in the season, there's just it's on film. I mean, there's times where he's wide the hell open and was either missed, never got thrown to, and all those things. But he also became a overvalued asset. I mean, from a production standpoint, you're right. From a production standpoint, you're absolutely right. I still think his best football is ahead of him. I do think he will play at the next level. Um, I question with him. It's just the consistency. Honestly, I mean, he had a game this year where he had every catch he had was he had a touchdown, and then he had games this year where he had 2 catches for 8 yards or whatever, right, and just flat out drops, and the drops were an issue last season. So, um, you were. And from a production standpoint, it turned out to be. I mean, who was did any of the receivers really live up to the? I mean, I know Wingo came alive and started putting up numbers at the end of the year. I think Mosley was probably our most consistent guy. Parker Livingston had his moments, so that's something that again to pay attention to because we're now going to be looking at what Dalen McCutcheon in the slot, especially before any of the portal people come in. We're going to be looking at the young boys, Khalil Lockett, Jamie French. How do they look against real bump? We know we look. I, I don't trust. I don't know about y'all. I don't trust practice reports anymore. I know they told, Sark highlighted this person because he's practicing well. I don't. I got to see it on the field. Now they were right about certain players this year. They were right about Lance Jackson having good practices. They were right about Grayson Littleton having good practices. That translated over onto the field. And those guys had good seasons to me, especially Littleton. I know he had his struggles and some bad games, but overall, for a true freshman to do what he did, I thought it was one of those. I don't even remember which one it was, but it was one of those all freshman All American list. I thought he deserved to make it. I feel like Isaiah Thomas. I felt like he met the criteria, and for whatever reason, he wasn't selected. It was one of those lists. I don't know which one. What's up, John Willard? How you doing, brother? Good to see you in here, man. Good to see John Willard in here. Back. You're back with us, huh? Merry Christmas, John Willard. Merry Christmas. From John, just real quick question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how pissed were you about the Miami game, brother? In all seriousness. And are you paying Marcel Reed to come back to be your quarterback in 2026? Can you win a playoff game with Marcel Reed? Let me know. Because 3 points at home in a playoff game is unacceptable, brother. You know that. We know that. He said 11. Like this is Spinal Tap. Rest in peace, Rob Reiner. But these go to 11. John is, I hear you, brother. I hear you. One of us. One of us. So, oh boy, we need Big Gooseby to come back next year. We need Big Gooseby to come back next year. I do appreciate him doing his due diligence though, because as I was saying before, and some people kind of ignored me, but I was saying when some of the grades started coming back and he's starting, I mean, I know some of these little YouTube channels and Twitter channels or whatever, they just talk to talk or trying to get engagement or whatever. I get it. But when real people that I know are in the scouting community and are credentialed in Mobile for the ball and do this shit all the way through draft season are like, yo, he's in the top 20. Yo, he's people, even people outside like the typical Texas guys like Matthew Miller, like when they were really saying Trevor Gooseby, because here's the thing with Trevor Gooseby that people have to understand. Yes, he has only started a year and some change. Okay. And some people will discount Matt Miller because he's a Texas guy. So they say he likes to give people Texas bump. But I've seen people outside of Matt Miller giving him first round grades. But here's the thing. Trevor Gooseby, in the time that he has played of his starts, even with the limited overall starts and experience, he has gone up against the best of the best when it comes to edge talent. Think about it. He went up against the Clemson boys last year. He went up against Michael Williams and Jalen Walker at Georgia. He went up against Nick Scorton and the other brother that went to the Bengals that's already looking mid. That was a first round pick. That was a workout warrior. I forgot his name. He was a workout warrior. He had all them stats, but uh hasn't done Shamar Stewart. He went up against all these dudes. This past year, right? Think about all the edge talent he has seen throughout the season, schemes, all that. He's had no days off considering like the amount of edge talent Trevor Gooseby's had to go against in such a short period of time is very rare. And he has performed very well in those matchups. Then you add in the physical. You add in the youth. You add in the fact that obviously there's an athletic gene in the family. Look at the brother, the younger brother. The guy has basketball type athleticism at tackle. He's not a movement guy like Kelvin Banks was. No. But with at his massive size, he doesn't have as many problems against speed as most guys of his size do, right? Some of the weaknesses that we've seen, obviously, from like a guy like Proctor or Bama, who may or may not even play left tackle at the next level. So those are things that are really exciting and juicy. And then obviously him being all SEC first team this year, um, and is taking over for Kelvin Banks. That's where Kyle Flood can I feel a certain type of way about Kyle Flood, but you know those are one of the things he can use as a boost or a feather in his cap, if you will. I think Brandon Baker has come on nicely, uh, especially from a pass pro perspective. He really has grown a lot this year. I still think he's more of a left tackle than a right tackle. I think he's obviously having to play right tackle because of Gooseby. But I think if Gooseby were to go, I think Baker moves over to the left. That's just me. I mean, I have no idea, but I'm not plugged in like that to where But he needs to be brought back, and he deserves a pay bump. You're gonna have to pay Trevor Gooseby one way, either to stay or he's gonna go to the NFL because it's if he's coming back, that's kind of a risk. If he has potential first, if he potentially has a first or second round grade, it's you're gonna have to pay for the risk he's gonna have to inherit coming back. Now he obviously he's gonna have a chance to come back if he stays healthy and plays good ball and grow, but there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. So you're gonna have to pay for that if you're Texas. So I hope they don't mess up any negotiations with the brothers' bread to get them right. But for Arch, if you're truly all in, you're going to do whatever it takes. That's the way I feel, right? Because BK asked me this morning before we get to the running backs and whatnot. BK asked me about Cam Coleman, right? And I know that's the big name, that's the sexy name, that's obviously what everybody wants to go after. But I'm also of the standpoint of I feel like as long as you're not sacrificing that money for another position for that money, and there's still money to go and get the one of the best players like that for Arch, for this offense, for this program, for 12 games, we can. I'm not saying you pay $2 million. That's not what I'm saying. I understand what he's saying, whatever his agents are saying for a price. But if we're talking about playing for a contender, if you're talking about playing with Arch, if you're talking about where you could potentially be slotted, especially performing in this pressure cooker, or yeah, you can go play for, you know, some first year coach, another good P4 program, play with some sorry ass quarterback, get your little 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, and hope you stay in the first round. And hope some brothers don't come out of nowhere and pass you. And you don't lose bread. I hope it works. Like, because some of these people are just going to say, you know what? Um, I want the money up front no matter what. And they're not even thinking about money that is on the back end for them if they have a Matthew Golden type season, right? If they have those type of years, right? Especially at a program like Texas on that stage, right? Do they even care about winning? Is winning important to you? Or is it just getting a bag and getting your numbers? What is important to you? These are questions that need to be like, you need to still find the right type of guys in the portal. It's not just, you know, some guys, again, like say receivers and corners are a little bit different than the guys that are going to be more closer to the football, that have to have chemistry, that are part of your communication. You really want program guys at those positions, and guys that are all that. But yeah, like I don't know Cam Coleman. He may be one of them dudes. So then at that point, I'm not paying you $2 million if you don't get, because that's the same. That's those are the type of dudes that will tweak a hamstring, and the next thing you know, you don't see him for 8 weeks. And what'd you spend your money on? Be careful. Be careful. That's why evals matter. Evals still matter, even of the top tier guys. Because if it's just here to get a bag and you just biding your time to get to the NFL, let a little something happen. Next thing you know, the brother's on the bike for 2 months, missing all conference games. So tomorrow's important. Tomorrow's important. But this is the double-edged sword, right? John Dyer, right? French and Lockett, they need to be good. Can they play? And I'm not saying they gotta be perfect. I'm not saying they can't drop a pass. I'm not saying they can't make a mistake. I think sometimes we didn't let some other guys grow because some people were allowed, and this is something I'd like to see that clean up in the program a little bit, both staff and player. This is just my opinion. I feel like some people get longer leash and rope than others. There's some people that would make the same mistakes every single week and they still get to keep their job. But somebody else come out there and make a mistake and you don't see him for a month. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But my thing is, mistake or not, you know if somebody can play. Mistake or not, you know if this guy's a dud or he's just not ready yet. Or yeah, I'm gonna live with the drops, but he can ball. I'm gonna live with the occasional fumbler here or there. We just have to like Jaden Blue. But he at the end of the day, like I need him. He can like, but there are certain people on the team that I've seen over the years. The moment they make any mistake, this staff will just say, "You, we're like they'll just be banished to the shadow realm." Like they're dealing with Bob from Thunderbolts, and you won't see him for 2 months. And then other people, it's like, damn dog, you get to commit a penalty or whatever. But I see your ass out there the next drive. Like y'all have why do some people get more grace and get to keep getting chances after chances after chances, and then some other young guy over here does one dumb thing, and you don't ever see him again. I would like to see just a true merit. We want this to be a true meritocracy, but clearly they got their favorites. It just is what it is. There are people they like more than others. It just, and some of it, I'm not going to say some of it is NIL related. I do think they are trying to play the best players possible. If it was NIL related, if it was truly NIL related, I think you would have seen some of the young. I think you would have seen some of these young boys playing a little bit more. So I don't think it's just that, but it does seem like some people's leash was just like, man, like he came in and Neto stepped the wrong way. And y'all said Neto. It's true. It's true. It's true. There has to be something else. I don't know why Neto wasn't playing. They've been making Neto knit his own leash. Y'all are hilarious. Neto's leash was negative. But yeah, my boy Roberson, he was he never lost his job on special teams. My man had my man received grace weekly. No matter how many penalties he got, he never got fired. My uncle used to coach down in Miami high schools, and he whenever he would replace a kid or somebody make a mistake, he would say, "You got fired." So that's why I still say that because my uncle, I call him Coach Dave. But shout out to Coach Dave. He just saw he bought a Range Rover today on Facebook. So shout out to Unc. But it's just funny because it's like, damn dog, like some people every game they commit the same mistake or penalty, and then other people make one little error in the play that we may or may not even see, and you never see them again. Man, yeah, Cam Williams. They gave long rope, long. Yeah, some people get to keep their job, and some it's so. Hey, I don't know. He said they were treating Jared Gibson like beef for Remember the Titans. Oh boy, how many feet are in a mile? They really were. Hey, I, also I want to address the Wisner comment earlier. This so I don't have any problem with especially guys like backs or whatever. He did a lot uh for this program, and I don't understand some of the vitriol towards Trey Wisner. Trey Wisner is a success story in my opinion. Do you guys realize he was in the same class as CJ Baxter, who was the number one running back in the country? The same class that Jeremiah Love was in. Jeremiah Love probably going to be a first, second round pick in the draft this year. Like Trey Wisner was shit at DeSoto, moved to the slot because Tiger took over a running back. Like he was expected to be just a contributor. And and then when he played, some people got annoyed because the more lauded recruits at running back, regardless who it is, or he would get playing time. Like he would play over them because he turned himself into something. He transformed his body. He was an early special teams core special teamer, Y'all remember that? He made his presence known early. He was great in big games, especially rivalry games more so. But even the Michigan game earlier, like he was never. What were your expectations of Trey Wisner when he signed with Texas? He was towards the bottom of the class. Like they got crazy mileage out of it. He became 1,000 yard back. What? I have nothing. I have nothing but gratitude for Wisner. Now, when it comes to the financial negotiations and things of that sort, I, you know, Texas. There was a line that Texas didn't want to cross to pay. Totally get it. That's their right. They need to upgrade that position. It was a position of struggle. You have a new running back coach come in. There's a reason why the room was overhauled. But I would have definitely welcomed back Trey Wiser to be a part of that room. And I also wish him the best of luck. I know that guy. I know that kid's a warrior. I know that kid's a football player. He the most talented player? Is he the fastest player? Does he have the best vision? Is he the best eye? No, but he's a fucking football player. That I can say about him. And I have no problem. That's like a guy, whose contract up at the job and leaves, and it's like you really had no very low or no expectations for him, and he comes in and holds shit down during a period of massive turnover at the job, but every day he shows up on time, clocks in, does his job, and then you're pissed off that he goes and he's trying to his contract's up and he doesn't want to come back at the same rate. He wants to find a better opportunity, but you're over here trying to replace him as well, and you want to replace him. Why are you pissed? And we as fans need to take some responsibility and understand the calendar a little bit better too, because I'm kind of tired of people asking and trying to being confused as to the running back situation when it's obvious the portal doesn't open until January 2nd. Like that's a quick Google search. And I know everybody's an intense fan. This is fanatic perspective and tracking like that and all that. But like this whole notion that guys are just leaving because they're unhappy, like these again, this is more of like an NFL model, right? Like, hey, if you're gonna come back, it's gonna be at this rate and this workload. Are you happy with that or not? Or if you come back, sorry, we're probably gonna play this guy over you. We're gonna pay this person over you. Starting in the spring, you're gonna be third on the depth chart. I'm just being real with you. That's why that's why Gibson left what he left. So preserve his red shirt. Like these are all business decisions. And very important too, because the portal opens, like I said, on Friday. If Trey is not going to be on this football team next year, he needs to go to the portal now. Now to find his next home and to be getting visits and doing all that. You can't wait. School's about to start. What are we talking about? Some of these people start school either next week or the week after. If you're looking to go to certain programs, you still got to transfer, enroll, all that. Why are we acting like we don't understand the calendar? So to be confused, why people the thing is the reason why some of us are struggling as Texas fans is because we've been spoiled the last couple of years, and during this time we've been in the playoffs, and we've kind of forgotten how the calendar really works. Think about it. This time last year, we were preparing for the Arizona State game. We had already beaten Clemson. We were getting ready for Arizona State this time last year. Your mind wasn't on the portal calendar. And because we were in the playoffs, the mass overhaul hadn't happened yet. This is normal, what is happening when you want to flip and turn over some things and make some decisions for your program. What we're going through is very, very normal. So please understand that. And if you're going to have coaching changes and scheme changes, again, some of these people were recruited for previous staff members or evals of previous staff members or came to play for previous staff members. So we got to understand those things. Just like coaches coming in are going to bring some players with them. Hopefully, Mr. Y'all know who. So because we're not in the playoffs right now, we got to understand that this is the current calendar we got to live with. Now, if you want to have a problem with something, have a problem with college football's jacked up calendar as it is. That's the real issue, and that's what everybody should be upset about, in my opinion. Because this calendar does not it does these coaches no favors. So the calendar has not been fixed to accommodate the playoff system, the conference championship games, the current college football schedule. The calendar is off. So that's why this is happening. But to be getting going off on the players and getting mad that he asked for too much money or all this type of stuff, y'all have no clue what's really going on behind the scenes to that degree, especially when agents are involved. I'm not saying the calendar is why Trey left. That's not my point. I'm just saying in general when I'm talking about the calendar. David, he also played 16 games, not exactly 17. Now there's some ridiculous agents all over the place. I don't know who represents every single person. We also have agents that have multiple players on your team. I mean, you could have 10 guys that are represented by the same person, right? You got multiple people represented by, David Mulligetta, for example. So I don't think obviously he's not talking about people like that, right? But it's some of these young guys that you see on Instagram that tag themselves on some of these clips, and they're in the car with some of these kids and all that type of stuff. And yeah, you have some funny business going on, and they come out with unrealistic offers and unrealistic expectations and demands that it's like, this is why you're going to end up not at the desired location, or this relationship's probably going to go sideways. I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with this. Like, it goes both ways, because Trey Wisner wouldn't be able to command anything if he didn't play here, if he didn't capitalize on those opportunities. So, but and Texas is also looking at this saying, we had one of our worst rushing offenses in the modern era. We have to improve. It's not solely blaming you, but we want to overhaul the whole thing. But it goes. Well, I don't understand why there's bad blood. You should be saying thank you for your service. Thank you for going belt to ass versus OU twice. Thank you for going belt to ass versus A&M twice. Thank you for the 1,000 yards. Thank you for the 40 something catches. Salute, brother. Wish you luck. As long as you don't go to a op. Like, I don't understand the bad blood. And yes, a lot of this stuff is Texas is like, no, we're not gonna we want to use this here, or we have this guy coming in tomorrow again. So kind of redirecting focus to the game tomorrow. What do we got? Like 65 players that are in Orlando that are practicing and all that, and getting prepared for the game. Um, on the defensive side, because I talked about Arch already, and I do expect, and when I know that think the whatchamacallit, what is it? The spread is what, 7? Yeah, -7, all that type of stuff. Uh, hold on, I just saw this comment. This is this is this is the nasty part. Yes, this is true. It's happening at the high school level though. This is gonna have to be policed somehow, and I don't know who governs that or who it falls on. I don't know who it falls on, but this stuff like this is going to have to be policed in our sport. And yeah, we can be upset. And I hear you guys talking about how Trey handled things. You can be upset about how somebody handled things, but that's not that's a you know to me that's a footnote in the whole thing. That's a footnote in the whole thing. Maybe the brother was felt some type of way for who knows. I mean, he has to have some sort of irrational self belief to even accomplish what he accomplished here, considering what he was recruited to do. I also think about it that way too. And you also got to consider these, guys are young, all sorts of things. I prefer to lend grace in that regard and just think, move forward, learn from it. Ultimately, Texas was like, we're not going to pay that and move forward. It happens. So y'all talking about Wisner did an Irish goodbye to Texas. Some of y'all do an Irish goodbye in your damn relationships. AJ said he did an Irish goodbye at work. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, are you going to be pissed? My thing is, 6 months from now, you're not going to be pissed off about that. You're not. So how big of a problem is it? There's a lot of times I don't like the way somebody ended their relationship or ended something with me, but okay. But some of you, like the same people over here talking about, I don't like the fact that he didn't show up for the play or he didn't do this, blah, blah. You the same dude that didn't call that girl back. Do as I say, not as I do. Some of y'all in here. Do as I say, not as I do. Some of y'all are mad that he some of y'all are pissed off that he didn't say goodbye the right way. And y'all are in the most toxic relationships and end it in the most immature manner. It would be the same people. I prefer to show grace in that regard. Right? Especially like it's not like he broke up with he didn't break up with me. That I mean, at the end of the day, his stock is up because of Texas. His stock is up because of the way he worked at Texas, what he did at Texas. That's what I choose to 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 remember. But anyway, I do want to get to but this Joe K ATX this is the thing, and Sark, yes, he was pissed today, but it is more about the agents than the kids. It is definitely more about the agents. I can forgive a 19 or 20-year-old being pissed or a 21-year-old being pissed and being immature and not doing things the right way. You know who else? You know who else did an Irish goodbye? How about the Fighting Irish themselves, Notre Dame? They did an Irish goodbye on college football, did they not? But y'all mad at Trey Wisner. Whole ass program said they took their ball and went home. Didn't even consider the band, the kids on the band, the seniors, all the kids that probably could have benefited from them practices, the development of CJ Carr. They literally said deuces to everybody. So everybody is nasty with their behavior on how they act when they don't get what they want or their needs aren't met. Again, that's why I choose to show grace, because it's happening at levels way higher than the players. Way higher than the players. Notre Dame whole ass program said they took their ball and went home. We could be upset. I ain't here on the channel talking about the playoffs anymore. We ain't bitching about that anymore. We moved on. There was a time and a place for that. We've moved forward. Now our focus is, trying to win this bowl game, trying to get to 10-3, trying to develop these kids, seeing who's going to be on the roster next year. How's this 105 going to look? What's the portal going to look like on Friday? Things are moving. What does Coach Muschamp need? Does he have some pieces in place, who fits, who doesn't. Let's learn tomorrow who doesn't fit so we don't waste time. So NIL has really it's become a beautiful ugly beast. It really has. Um, it really has. What's up, Lando? Good to see you, brother. Stephen Houston said the power forward needs to freeze Notre Dame out of the schedule collectively. That's the sure way to force them into a conference. If the only games they can find are G5 and FCS. You know, some people might do that. Am I tripping? I know I've been out of the country and traveling and all this stuff. Did they not renew their series with USC? Did they, am I did I re- I may have had one too many mojitos at the pool, but I could have swore I saw something, or maybe it was fake news or AI. But did I see that they didn't renew the Notre Dame USC series, or am I tripping? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. They replaced them with BYU. Ugh, ugh. We are losing recipes, guys. This sport, we are losing recipes. There's no reason why. There's no excuse why that game. I understand USC has a conference schedule to navigate. They should, in a legitimate world where Notre Dame has all this freedom with their schedule, they should have figured out how to make it happen. Um, they understand that USC is in the Big Ten. Gross, gross rivalries just thrown to the wayside because of nonsense like this. It's sad. It's sad. Those are teams that need to be playing each other every year. Some of the best games I watch. The Bush Push, legendary games. Legendary games. Why is that being thrown aside? Nasty. Didn't give a shit. Notre Dame didn't give no shits about some of their kids playing one more game or get whether it was the young guys or the old guys. Just threw a tantrum. So it's top down. BYU gladly will take that money. I mean, they used to be independent themselves, so they kind of get it. Texas, yeah, Texas actually got their rivals back, like their true rivals. So anyway, so what do you guys expect in terms of? I wanted to get to the defense, right? Because I do think there are certain guys where thinking about more true man type principles, utilizing your athletes, right? I mean, there's no better way I can say this, but like utilizing your athletes more. I mean, think about the way Georgia plays coverage, right? And whether it's Ellis Robinson or Averett, like the type of corners that have given us problems the last couple years. Who are the guys on Texas on this roster that look the most like that will really fit a transition to that, right? Versus guys that that may be a struggle for them, right? And we'll see. I'm really curious to see how that looks in tomorrow's game, and this is why I said I want to see Bryce Underwood unleash. I'm gonna be pissed if Michigan comes out tomorrow and throws the ball 15 times. I'm gonna be pissed because we need the work. I mean, if they're gonna come out and throw the ball 15 times, I would prefer to see a Texas scrimmage. In all seriousness, I'd rather see Arch go against R1s than that. Like, I really want to see again for the good of the game at this point. Shit, I really want to see our boys, and it's gonna be hard because Michigan, in the Big Ten, how much smoke do they see the other way around and all that type of stuff. But I really want them Cade Phillips, right? Grayson Littleton. There's a lot of high praise for them. Kobe Black. I think I mentioned Zealous Hicks earlier. Certain guys, just seeing what they look like in this game. Huge in terms of JJR is somebody else I'm paying attention to, especially where he's playing, right? Because of the lack of depth at linebacker, guys in the middle of the defense. Is that an opportunity for him to shine? Right? Is that opportunity for, obviously Ty Anthony Smith, some of the guys like that? What does Johnny Nansen decide to do with those guys? Um, Phil Simi, I want to see Phil Simi play with more confidence, honestly. I feel like honestly, obviously he's super fast and the athleticism is there, but he has a look on his face halftime that he doesn't know what he's doing. And I'd like to see just the decisiveness, even if I'm imagining if Jonah's out there, even with McDonald playing, but like all these guys out there, that they're going to be they're going to allow these guys to fly around. It shouldn't be these robust coverages that they're calling. They probably only have a handful of coverages they probably don't even roll out there, right? And just let them go, let them fly. Even if Michigan, Michigan, please unleash Bryce Underwood so we can get some real bump. But even if Michigan does decide to go that route, I don't see them all of a sudden being, you know, this amazing, crazy offensive team that we've never seen before. But just giving us those opportunities to see these reps and these guys perform. I mean, Michigan has Andrew Marsh, who's really young, promising freshman that was playing really well, especially down the stretch of the season. Donovan McCulley is okay, 6'5", he has size, but he struggles with the catch point. I watched him drop so many freaking passes this year. He just doesn't have those natural. He has the size and the speed, but he don't have natural hands like that. But just want to see them try to, even their tight ends, right? How do we cover that? Is that going to be a challenge for Phil Simi or whoever's playing safety? Um, we've seen Jonah Williams uh, getting some work. What can the coaches do to get them playing as fast as possible? See ball, hit ball, right? Basic comms in coverage. Nothing crazy. Even if we're playing a 2-man under type thing, just having that confidence to come up there and understand your assignment, know what you're doing, passing off when you need to, and coming forward and hitting the shit out of somebody. Like that's what I'm excited to see. Because all these kids need the work. Bryce needs the work. They all need these reps. But I do think, and I'm gonna say this because I said at the beginning of the video, under Kyle Whittingham, and I don't know what they're gonna do offensively and all this type of stuff. If they'll bring in the New Mexico guys they brought in last year or what, but don't hide your quarterback. That doesn't do you any favors. As I said up top, I'm critical. I'm on Sark's ass about a lot of stuff. I don't care if you disagree with me or not. I'm entitled to my opinion. This is what I see, and I'm just gonna be honest. I don't, I don't, I'm not just gonna sugarcoat stuff because I want access or I want the coaching staff to like me or people on side to like me. I don't give a shit. I'm a fan. I want to win, and I'm gonna be honest. Okay. And this staff does a lot of shit I don't like, and there's some things they've done right. But what they have done right is they have not hit Arch. They've allowed Arch to go through the fire and become a real quarterback and develop the old school right way and just play through it and go through those dark times, go through those times where people call you overrated, go through those bad games. But they have not hid Arch. Michigan, I feel like I'm Pusha T and I'm talking to Drake. You are hiding your son. You're hiding a child. That's how I feel about Michigan. Because whenever they've played in these big games, they have hid Bryce. And I don't like it. I don't. It does the player no favors. You're paying the boy $12 million or whatever, but then he's not even getting opportunities to even. They went to OU and said we're not running the quarterback, and then the next week ran him all over the place. That's bitch made to me. I don't think that's going to happen under Coach Whittingham. I think I expect him, if they retain Bryce Underwood, to unleash him. If you know what you're doing, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, that kid should be a top 5 pick at minimum. There's no reason to be hiding him like this. Let him turn the ball over. If he sucks right now, he sucks right now. Arch sucked early in the season. Let them grow. Let them develop. Let them learn from their mistakes. Like I said with Arch, the guys that are super talented will develop quickly. They will learn quickly. They will suck, but they will learn quickly. Michigan, to me, wasted this year with Bryce Underwood. Wasted. Because they hit, anytime it was ready for that smoke, they would do basic remedial concepts like his high. He had more leash in high school than he did his first year at Michigan. That's why J.J. McCarthy is underdeveloped right now. And it cost Minnesota Vikings their whole season. That kid, I don't care about the 25-1 at Michigan and all. I care in terms of winning an national championship. Let's be clear. But in terms of the individual player, they did him no favors. He was not developed. Jim Harbaugh was there to win, get his natty, not get fined, not get in trouble, and got up out of there. They did not develop him. Everybody, the people on the offensive line got developed. Colston Loveland got developed. Blake Corum got developed. The quarterback didn't get developed. Not playing like that. We all saw Michigan. What concepts do they do that constitutes developing any quarterback? We watched them. When we played Michigan last year, when you saw Michigan go to Norman, all the stuff they do that was cool was in the run game. They didn't do nothing. I agree with that too, Steven. That's why I said if these kids also need to Bryce if this is what they're going to do, he needs to go to LSU. And Lane Kiffin will develop him into a top tier quarterback. That I have no question about. I don't know if they'll win, but I have no question. Lane and him, if you thought Lane was going crazy with Trinidad, give Lane Bryce Underwood. Give him 2 years if he went to LSU. They would go crazy. With LSU's receivers, they would go crazy. But so I agree, Steven. If dudes want to go to Michigan, that's on them. And that's why I'm saying with this, going back to the Cam Coleman thing, if you're choosing to go to some sorry ass program and you know you're dependent on a scheme or a quarterback that's never going to get you the ball, then you don't even want to win. I can't help you. Go get your 500 yards and go to the league, bruh. Like, you ain't gonna do nothing. Like, you'll have the occasional quick catch or whatever that goes viral on Twitter, and then you'll go to the league, and that's it. But Michigan they did nothing. Nothing with Bryce. To me, Bryce looks like exactly what like he did when he came out of high school. And that's not right, man. They got to be developing these quarterbacks. Some of these coaches in the game just to get by and do what they do. It goes back to the old. I mean, shoot. You ever seen the movie Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino and Jamie Foxx and Dennis Quaid, Cameron Diaz? What did old boy say in that movie? Willie Beeman. I was just a young brother here where the coach just needed to try to win a bowl game to save his job, and he put me in there to spin. Jim Brown, like that's true. 20 that movie came out what 99 2000 26 years later, that's still the truth with some of these quarterbacks. Arch had to play big boy football this year, and we didn't always like it, and he sucked in whole games. He sucked against G5 teams, but he started growing up, and he got better, and he got better, and he started developing, and he's going to continue to develop because they're not taking shortcuts with him. That's why Quinn Ewers is ready to play football for the Miami Dolphins. For those that missed it, I said Texas is a pressure cooker. And to develop these guys, they gotta be you gotta develop in the pressure cooker. And right now, Quinn is showing us, and hopefully Arch will be next. And I'm not saying Quinn's gonna be this great NFL, but so far, too, he's off to a good start to me. And he looks like a competent NFL quarterback. And he doesn't look like he's rushing through. He looks like he knows exactly what he's looking at least pre-snap. That's half the battle for the whole league. Even more experienced quarterbacks, they don't even know the difference between cover one or cover four. At least Quinn understands, you can see it with the players on Miami because he was under a damn pressure cooker here every single week. Every single week, Quinn had more heat on him. He's in the league now, rocking his George Strait t-shirts. Quinn is chilling, living his best life. So, take with that what you will. In terms of let's do predictions and get out of here. I expect. Speaking of Arch, I expect Arch, Mosley, Parker, Jack Indries. I'm not expecting us to come out here and run the football like that. Like, we're going to come out here and put that shit in the air because the teams that have had success against Michigan this year have been able to throw the football. I expect them to come out, be very aggressive. I think this game is going to look very similar. I think it could. Let me rephrase. I think this game could, since we always like to compare Sark to Bama Sark. Since we always like to compare Sark to Bama Sark, I've been saying, remember I think it was the Citrus Bowl in 2019. It was Bama versus Michigan. And Bama beat Michigan 35-16 in that game. And that was really Mac Jones's coming out party. Played really, really well. Had some explosive touchdowns to Jerry Jeudy. They got Najee Harris going. And it was kind of like sending a message. That was like the first shot that 2020 might be a special year for the Bama offense. That's the type of performance I'm looking at for Arch to come out and have and just really be sharp. Now, this is where I'm putting pressure on Sark, and I don't care what y'all say. Since he wants to offload all this shit to Will Muschamp, that's cool. I don't want to hear no excuses for the offense anymore, especially once they get their personnel in. They need to cook. There's no more excuses. You can't, there's nobody else to scapegoat. You decided to keep Kyle Flood. You decided to keep Jeff Banks. Make it work. You said you're going to have more time on the offense. I don't want to. I need to see execution. And honestly, Arch is going to be good regardless. That's the level he's getting to. And some of this shit he can fix on his own now. So you really don't have any excuses. Now, I'm not saying they're going to come out because Michigan will be able to stop the run tomorrow, but can we run the ball well situationally? Can we find some guys between Simon, Clark? How will Michael Terry be used is something I'm very much paying attention to. What will Michael Terry's job be? We got a 6'3", 215-pound jack of all trades ball of clay that we need to figure out what to do with. He's too talented and has too much going on upstairs not to be special in this system. If I'm not saying he's that's a guy tomorrow that could be one of those guys that is on the he should have been playing more this season list, right? So I'm definitely paying attention to that. But we need to be back to the roll out of bed at minimum 30-point offense. We got to be back to that on a regular basis because when we play the good teams next year, whoever those good teams are, I'm not ready to go through the schedule and all that shit yet because the schedule can be a lie this time of year. Sometimes you think you have a gauntlet and you don't. And sometimes you don't think you have a gauntlet and you do. So we got to see how the portal shakes out. Portal's not even open yet. We got to see how everything shakes out. But what I am saying is whoever the killers are that we face next year, Sark, there's no more. Your offense is only going to score 15 points, 14 points, 17 points. Bubba, you play a top 5 team. We need to be scoring 25, 30 points with Arch. I don't care. I'm sorry. Even against the best teams. It can't just be punt, 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 defense save me. All right. So we have to. He's put this on him. Sarcasm. I'm not putting this on Muschamp. I know Muschamp can coach. Again, we've been there, done that with how we got to this, but we're here now. This is on Sark. Because the man said, I want to pay attention to my offense. Okay. Then your offense needs to cook. I don't want to see no more 7-point. Thank you, sir. No more 7 points against Ohio State. Y'all need to cook. It can't if this is the way you're going with the quarterback you have. If Trevor Gooseby comes back, Jack Hendry, come on. And Muschamp, yeah, he can help with the culture. That goes for the whole team. I think the energy can go for the whole team. I do, but I'm sorry, Surfer Boy's in here. What's up, Surfer Boy? To me, the best coaches at this level are still the Kirby Smarts. Kirby Smart reminds me so much of Jimmy Johnson. The people that just take ownership of the whole team and control the energy of the whole team. Kirby Smart, when that audio came out of him the couple weeks ago, he was cussing out the offense, y'all. He was engaged. Now, was he drawing up scheme for the offense and all that stuff? No. But he was yelling at the offense. Because he takes ownership of the whole team. The whole operation is his operation. So, Sark chooses to do a different approach. That's fine. Whatever works for you, whatever's comfortable for you. Just know we are all in, and there's no more excuses. No more excuses. Accountability needs to be taken. Everybody needs to do their job. Period. I don't want to hear, well, I had to go over here and do that. You're the head coach. It's your whole team. It's your whole operation. It's you. You decided to keep Kyle Flood. You decided to bring in certain people. You need to make it work. Period. Period. And you need to make sure that the decisions you've made are truly upgrades, and make sure that Muschamp has everything he needs so he can be the best version of Will Muschamp. If it Whether it's staff, whether it's analyst, we are going to 105 scholarships. If Will Muschamp don't like a certain DB or whatever, then give him what he wants. I don't want to hear excuses anymore. Th- One of the benefits is that Sark's going to be going into what, year 6 next year. We should be at the point where there shouldn't be this guesswork on who can work with who and all that. It's year 6, and we're trying to break through. Um, but anyway, my prediction for the game tomorrow. I do think Johnny Nansen. I expect him to be exotic. Just the last time he called a game was what, the Arizona OU Bowl game. What was that? The Alamo Bowl or something like that. So I expect him to be exotic. I expect him to play a lot of guys. Everybody should play tomorrow. They only got 65 people. Um, and I think this game could be somewhere in the neighborhood of 31-17, Texas. I do expect Arch to play well, and then I want to see guys work again. And give grace to some of these young players. If somebody comes in, they're a little nervous, they drop their first pass, don't send them to the shadow realm. Let them play. Let them develop. Arch had to go through it. We need some of these guys. I want to see some of these guys go into spring with confidence. Go into spring knowing, hey, I can play at this level. I can play at this school. I can play. This is good competition to go up against. Oh man, the cheesy bowl, the cheesy bowl graphics tomorrow are gonna be hilarious on the broadcast. I already know it. Happy New Year, CB. Thank you for the super chat, JX. Appreciate it. Thank you for the donations. I'll be back tomorrow post game, after the game. Um, Surfer Boy, appreciate it. Yeah, Kirby's a wild dude, but he is engaged on everything. I do like that Sark said with the 65, he was able to see everything, blah blah blah. But the head coach wants to be off. Wants to be in charge of. Hey, I'm done with that. Oh yeah, Jelani McDonald coming back. Jelani McDonald might be your. Obviously, Colin Simmons is your headliner. Jelani McDonald might be your most important player on your defense next year. Like, for depending on how things shake out after Colin Simmons, like him coming back is huge. With his measurables and everything that he does do and can do, Jelani coming back is huge. Huge, 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 huge. And I want to see him take ownership of the defense and of whatever it is that we're doing. Because we are going to be running a much different defense, especially on the back end than what we were running before. But that's okay. When you want those guys back, and Jelani McDonald does fit the physical profile of those type of defenses, those Saban type of defenses. He does fit the physical profile. Jonah Williams fits the physical profile, though. Phil Simi fits the fit. Like, there's now, can Phil Simi play with the confidence and physicality? I don't know. I need to see it because I haven't seen it on the film yet, personally. Is there any juice in the running back room? Well, we need to see. What juice do we have in the tight end room behind Jack injuries? Seeing more Nick Towson, seeing more Amari Winston. What else do we have there to that's productive? What's the Alamo Bowl? USC and TCU. I agree, David. I agree with this. Yeah, Jordan Washington too. To me, Jordan Washington gained too much weight, and I think I haven't talked about strength and conditioning too much because I do think Becton's done a good job, but I think that one was a miss. I think he needs to. I think he's probably a better player at 245 than he is at 260. I mean, the brother was a very athletic tight end coming out of Houston when he came out of high school, and he was about 220. I understand it's very different when you're carrying 40 pounds of weight, but he I think he got a little too big. And now that's just one player. That's just my opinion from what I see. But I think it's dwarfed some of his athleticism and some of those things, and he's not as effective as he once was, or he could be, I should say. I think he's too big. I think 242. I don't see why he needs to be bigger than that. I really don't. He's not. He doesn't have the same type of frame as like Spencer Shannon, who's like 6'7", 6'8". Like he's not that type of tight end. Those guys can carry that type of weight. I don't think he can. Nick Towson doesn't need to gain all that weight. Some of these guys are fine at 235, 240, and they can be a freaking tree stump. They don't need, not everybody needs to be big as shit like that at tight end, especially if you're going to be heavily involved in the passing game. But some people's frames can add that weight, and it's not a problem. It's typically the taller guys. But and Jordan Washington is what, 6'4"? But to me, the frame was never giving this guy needs to be 260, 265. He's not like, who's the big dude on who used to be on Surfers Boys? Washington. Darnell Washington. That's a guy, that boy is like 300. And he's like 6'7", like that, but you can tell that guy's frame, he can he can handle that. This is just not me. Steve's eye test. Steve just my opinion. He ain't built like that. So I don't understand why they needed to get him up to 265. I mean, the boy looked like he has diabetes. So we need to scale that back before he really gets Sugarfoot and move forward at 240, 245, where he can move and be in the passing game and be a more explosive looking football player. And if this isn't, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't. That's where I thought. I didn't think when they were like, and they were kind of got. This is why you have to be careful with the off season reports and practice reports and stuff like that, because they were gassing that shit up, talking about, man, he looks great at 260. He's running people over. He's doing all this type of stuff, and then he gets in the game, and he's having sugar crashes because like and he's dropping balls point blank, and the lowest graded Pro Football Focus guy on the team and all this type of shit. Like, come on, we gotta I need a do over with Jordan Washington for him personally. No disrespect. John said it's the barbecue. Y'all was funny. It's not the whole team. It's not. Most of these guys look great physically. Most of these. This is not like the Tom Herman days. This was this. My beef is really just with him. I think everybody else. I mean, we used to spend these whole lives on this channel 6, 7 years ago just talking about strength and conditioning problems, guys. You this is trans lane too. So yeah. Anyway, uh, let's do playoff predictions tomorrow. Yes, DIS. Don't ignore signs. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Don't ignore signs. It is ironic, David. It is very ironic. It is yeah. Jack injuries, 245 would be perfect for him. He needs a little bit more in the butt. And then Jordan Washington, yes, they both they need to go like this. They need to go like this. I can predict the Ohio Miami game right now. I mean, I know it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow night though. The Cotton Bowl. Ohio State's gonna win. That's the one game I'm not tripping off of. I do think Miami. What's the spread on that? I'll predict that game real quick and then we'll go. But Ohio State, Miami. What's the spread on that one? Ohio State minus 9.5. I think Ohio State covers late. I think Miami's in there for most of that game because they do have Miami has. I think Miami will look a little better offensively in this game. I don't think they'll, but they're not going to be able to run the ball on Ohio State the way they ran the ball on Texas A&M. That's the problem, and eventually that's going to lead to Carson Beck needing to drive the ball against Ohio State. Matt Patricia, those guys have had a lot of prep time. I am curious to see how Ohio State looks with all the time off. I'm curious to see how all these teams look with all the time off. Ohio State, Indiana, Tech. The Tech game is the one that's the most intriguing to me. Tech Oregon is so intriguing to me. I feel like I have a good feel for the other games, and I feel like Georgia, um, and I feel like Georgia. I feel like I have a good feel on Georgia, but yeah, I think Ohio State actually covers late. Uh, I don't trust Carson Beck in these games. He did nothing in College Station to earn my trust. Nothing. He literally did nothing. Literally did nothing. I don't trust Tech's quarterback either. I don't trust Baron Morton at all. That's the to me, the rest of Texas Tech's roster is money to me. I mean, there's again, I know a lot of y'all don't have the same highs on Tech that I do, um, because y'all don't respect their schedule. I get it, but anybody that's 12 wins by 20 plus points or more is impressive to me. I mean, in a Power Four conference, but I don't trust Baron Morton. There's a reason why Will Hammond was taking that job. There's a like I don't even like the way he played. I don't like the way he played in the Big 12 championship game. I think he's a guy to be had. I really do. I think he's a guy to be had. Um, Surfer Boy, the Georgia Ole Miss game. Um, I think that game might be a lot different from the game y'all played in Athens when nobody punted for like 3 quarters. Y'all were both just going up and down the field scoring. I think Georgia's defense has made big strides in the last month. I like Georgia a lot. I have Georgia winning the national championship, by the way. I know they're young. I know they're very, very young. They've grown up a lot to me. Georgia defensively has. I talked about Arch Manning getting better as the season went on. To me, I've only seen Georgia's defense get better and better and better and better as the season's gone on. And I think they have a good enough offense. I like what I see with the quarterback. I think they can run the ball well enough. I have Georgia winning it. I do. They're the team I trust the most. I trust Georgia the most out of all the teams. That defense has really grown up, and they're getting a second look at Ole Miss with no lane. Trinidad and them are good, magical, but I think this is, and I think Ole Miss will score, but I don't think Ole Miss will score the way they scored in Athens. I don't. I don't. But I still got to think on Texas Tech or Oregon. I'm not ready to call that game yet. I'm not ready to call Indiana Alabama yet. I have a feeling about the Indiana Alabama game, but I need to. I'll give my prediction tomorrow. But for the Texas Michigan game, I got Texas win 31-17. 31-17 Texas. I do think that Michigan will try. I hope that they do try to unleash Bryce and really let him try to spin it. I just don't think he has the weapons to really threaten us like that and score consistently. I do think that they have, obviously they run the ball really, really well. Their FEI is really high relative to what you would think it is. But I also know what Michigan's looked like and been against teams like us this year, and they've bought it. They've some of these games they've brought a knife to a gunfight, and where Arch is at this point in the year, and with the guys we still have offensively, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to put points on the board tomorrow, and still be able to work everybody in and hopefully find some new stars who will be the guys we're talking about at the end of the game tomorrow. Hit the like button, show some love. Appreciate y'all so very much. And remember, horns always up. I will be back tomorrow after the game, New Year's Eve. Cheese it, Citrus Bowl, whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, go Texas. Horns always up. Welcome. Love y'all. Peace.